Now that gives us the minor pentatonic in all of the boxes. But what happens is, just like we had before, becomes the inversion. We get an inverted version of this. So let me show you how that is going to work. And I want to show you that we don't change the patterns. The patterns stay the same, but the scale degrees move. And that's the difference, guys. So what we're going to deal with now is the major pentatonic. So what we could do with this, guys, is we can use the hand of rock here. So this is your fretting hand. If we think about the index finger, that's where we find the root note for the minor pentatonic. But then what we can do equally is we can use the pinky to find where the flat third is. And that's how we would generally do it when we play the scale. But this flat third in the minor pentatonic is the root note for the major pentatonic. So let me put this here. It is the root note for the major pentatonic. And you can see that if we're thinking that we find the root note for the major pentatonic on the E string, then what happens is we have to then think differently. We have to look at this one here as becoming box 1 in the major pentatonic. So it switches around. This is box 1 now. So box 2, if this note is the root note, you have switched it. You are in major pentatonic. The root note, if it's starting there, then this becomes box 1. Then we can imply from that that this is going to be box 2 in the major pentatonic. Let me put the major pentatonic formula there. We've got the root, second, we've got the third, we've got the fifth, and then we've got the sixth. Okay, so those are our scale degrees going along this way. And now what we can do is, because we understand where that root note is, that's the catalyst, that's the starting point for everything. We can find that everywhere. In fact, before I fill in the other scale degrees, let's just look at finding the root note for this major pentatonic. That's all I'm going to look at. And I'm going to look at the cage system way of doing this again. So remember, it goes C, A, G, E, D in that little cycle. Now this is on the E string, so we're going to think to ourselves, this is the E-shaped octave because it's on the E string. Because it's on the E string, it's going to go up 2 over 2. There's the root to the root. 2 E strings, they mirror each other. Let me just colour that in. Now what happens is this pattern is moved over here. So whatever happens in this part of the pattern here, guys, let me just colour that in. Then what we can see is that we have shifted that pattern over here. And the root note is still in the same fret. We're still thinking of this as being A minor, C major. Because it's the major, we're thinking C major pentatonic. With this one, we're thinking of it as A minor pentatonic. So A minor pentatonic, C major pentatonic. They're heads and tails on the same coin, guys. So let's follow through here. We're going to take this root note here and we're going to go, all right, which string is it on? E, A, D. So it's on the D string. Let's go up the D-shaped octave. We go 1, 2, 3 and over 2. So the root note is going to land just there. Once we know that, we can see where our shape is going to be. And it would make sense that it's going to be the D-shaped octave, because if we're following, when we know that we're starting on the E-shaped octave, we're going to be on the D-shaped octave there. It's kind of like a crossword puzzle. We don't know what that is, we don't know what that is, and we don't know what that is, but we've got E and D there. The clue that we have is the way that cage cycles round. We've got to D, we know that the next one's going to be C there, and we know that the one after that is going to be A, and then we know that the one after that is going to be G just here. So we can see that we get the cage sequence, but it's called Gedka instead if we're thinking about it in that way. But if we were using the root note on the E string, then this is the case. When we learn scales, we generally start with the root note on the E string, and that's a bit of a thing that gets you stuck in that way of thinking. You don't want to be thinking that way all the time. Right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to magically transport that over there, and you can see we've got that pattern just over there. Let's just look at this. We can see that it's the C-shaped octave, so I know that it's going to live over there. That's my root note. Then I'm going to do the same thing. I can look at that, and without filling in the yellow bit, I can just go, oh look, there's 2 notes, there's 2 notes, and those 2 notes. I can see that little shape there. I'll just transfer that over there. And I can see that's the A shape. Look at that, it's on the A string. So I know it's going to be up 2 over 2. But because of the way that the sequence falls, I can see that it's the A shape there as well. So look, up 2 over 2, that's going to put my root note just there. Okay, so I can think about it in that way. I can go at it blind. I don't even need to see this here. I can see that really, if I look at that there and transfer that over onto this shape here, because remember, when this ends here, it begins here. They flip round onto each other there. But I'm going to take that root there, and I'm just going to transfer it over here, guys. Look, root to root there. It's on the G string. Means it's going to be a G-shaped octave, up 3 over 2. There we go. We've got root to root. E string, it's going to be repeated there. So now I can see how I have plotted out all my root notes there like that. And let me just put my yellows in. There we go. All the yellows are in there. Now what I can do is I can do the rest with the caged octave patterns if I wanted to find those scale degrees. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at this and I'm going to think to myself, okay, there's the root. All right. What would that be if I went backwards? If I think about this here as a cycle as well, look, root, second, third, fifth, sixth, then we could get the octave, which is the same as the root, really. So I just think to myself, well, there's the sixth. That's where the sixth lives. I've got a starting point there. There's my root. Let's just do these root ones first. It's like Sudoku. So we've got the root there, and then put the second on there. You can see root second. That's the next note that I'm going to find there. Root here. I've already found that that's the sixth just there. Let's have a look at the next note in the scale. And this is where it all becomes really, really cool. I've got this one here. This is my second. I go over 2, back 2. That's my A-shaped octave. And I know that's going to work because there's my A string. Look, you can flip and invert this in lots of different ways, guys. So there's my second. Because I know where my second is now, I know looking at my next scale degree, I'm going to find my third just here. It becomes easy to see things. It's even plotting out a little triad there, root, third, and then I could see the fifth there. But let's go through this systematically, like I was saying to you. Sixth, root, second, third. What's next is going to be the fifth, which is going to live just there. Because that's the fifth, it's on the D string. What we can do is we can take that and go up 3 over. Let's fill in 2 of them there. Fifth and fifth. Oh, what's on the fifth there? Well, it's going to be easier to work this out from the scale formula. Or is it? I don't know. Look, let's go up 2 over 2. That gives us another sixth that we can find there, because there's a sixth, there's a sixth, there's a sixth. Because it's an E shape. It's got 3 strings that are the same value. Now we've got this one here, and I can think to myself, that's a C shape. Look, there's the third. I'm just going to carry it over that way. But I can also think scale formula, second, third. That's where that's going to live. You can see I've plotted all of the C major pentatonic scale out. But look there, guys. Look at the difference. Has the box pattern changed any? No, it hasn't changed. But the scale degrees have changed. It's all about where the root note is, your starting note. And you can see here, this is an E-shaped box pattern. The chord that you would find to match this would be an E shape. If we look at the chord to match, this would be a G shape. Look, there's the root, there's the third, there's the fifth, there's the root, there's the third, there's the root again. That will plot out a G chord. You can see how these shapes all work into each other. But for the sake of completing this whole thing, I'm just going to quickly blast through the rest of these box patterns so you can see that nothing else is going to be introduced into this. These are the only ingredients that are going to be in this recipe. We know that if we take this part of the pattern, we can transfer it up here. That is going to help massively because we can use caged octaves, or we can use the scale formula. Root, we can see the second's going to be there. Third, we know that the fifth is going to be here. We look at this second, we know that the third is going to be here. Fifth, we know that the sixth is going to be here, root, and the second is going to be here. This is helping you to visualize your intervals on your fretboard as well, guys. So look, let's carry this over. Now we've discovered that there. We can see we've got that there. Brilliant. Let's use the caged method. Up 2 over 2, that's going to be a second. It's repeated there. Just make sure that is the case. We also have this fifth. Let's use this one. Up 2 over 2. We're going to have a fifth there. Let's do that. We've got the root there. We've got the third. Up 1, 2, 3. Then over 2. We can see we get the third there because it's on an E string. We're going to repeat it there. Let's look at this next note. It's on the B string. Going back, I can see that gives me a C-shaped octave. And lo and behold, I have filled out the whole of the pattern there. Super. Right, let's look at this box 3 here in the major pentatonic. So let's just take this and fill this in here. There you go. So that's in there. Let's do the scale method. Let's go 3. So what's after 3 is going to be 5. 6th, we get the root note. Look, it just goes back on itself. You just see it there. 2nd, 3rd, 5th, 6th. And you think to yourself, root, 2nd, 3rd, 5th, 6th. That's all you need. Those are your ingredients. So we've got root there, and then I'm just going to go 2nd, 3rd, and I know that my 5th is here, and I can clarify it by using my caged octaves. Wonderful. Let's just flip that over there. Perfect. Now we can use the caged octaves. I'm not going to do. I'm just going to keep on going. 5th, and no, the 6th is going to be next. Root, 2nd, 3rd coming up. That's going to give me the 5th. This is the 2nd. It's going to be the 3rd just here. This is the 5th. This is going to be a 6th. So you can see that is exactly the same as that. And that plots everything out, guys. So now you can see that all you need to do is look at your 5 pentatonic box patterns and see that we can visualize them in a different way. Now, before, what I mentioned was the caged autopsy method for looking at the pentatonic scales. And if you want to go over that, then you probably want to click this link in this end screen video here, and you'll get a lot from that. And there's also a mug. There is a caged mug. Look at it. It's beautiful. Yes, so you can get that as well. It's homework in a mug.